Welcome back to AM Northwest. If you have dark under eye circles, covering them up with makeup can really be tricky, but our next guest has a foolproof technique to get it done. We welcome back Portland makeup artist Linda Wong and her model Jenna. Thank you both for being here. It is kind of a challenging thing to do, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And a lot of people struggle with under eye circles, and it doesn't matter what age you are. We all have a little bit of skin imperfections and things that we want to kind of cover up. So we're going to be talking about color correcting and kind of like a makeup artist color theory, but you can do it every day.
Okay. And Jenna, so you struggle with this?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay. And so it must be challenging then to try to hide them, right?
Yeah, every day.
Okay. All right, Linda, you said you have 3 don'ts to covering up circles, or you have a few tips anyway.
I've got some tips. So the biggest one is that usually the under eye area needs, it's brown or sometimes purple or blue. So you need a balanced color. So that's what color theory and color correction is. Is we have a peach color that's really for purple, browns, and blue colors. That's going to help kind of counteract and neutralize that color. And then, if you have blemishes or acne or any rosacea or redness, that's what the green is for.
Green, yeah.
And you don't want your face to look green. You don't want it to be super apparent. It's just a little bit goes a long way. Just a little bit to just neutralize that color, and then you can put a concealer or your foundation on top of it. And then you have a darker shade of orange. That's usually for your medium to darker, deeper skin tones that have really dark brown, and usually that's, around the nostrils, like around the mouth area, under eyes. And then you've got some yellows to help combat like purples. So any purples or even a little bit of blue veining. And then the pink is more of like a highlight. So that's going to help brighten up the skin. So that's what this is for. And there's also 2 setting powders as well. But this is the Stila color correcting palette that I'll be using today.
All right.
Yeah, so just to kind of show the pink highlight, we're just going to do a little bit under.
So just the light pink.
Just the pink, just so you can see what that does. And this is just to brighten up the area. So you can use this as a highlight under the brows or even down the T-zone area. So I'm just going to do a little bit on the under eye area or under the brows. Just to make the brow pop. And then we're going to take the color correcting shade, which I mentioned was the peach. So I'm going to focus just a little bit with a brush in the areas that I want. And
so again, this is to go under your foundation, essentially, right?
Yep, under your foundation, under your concealer. So I'm just kind of targeting the very specific dark area that I want to mask.
I think I would worry about creating more lines with more makeup.
Right, yeah. So you definitely want to put like a sheer light layer underneath. And yeah, you don't need too much. So that's why I use a brush first to kind of get it where I want it. And then to melt the product, just use my little finger just to kind of act as a sponge. Yeah, and usually there's blue veins like right here. So that's the area people tend to miss.
Yeah.
So I'd say definitely, so that's one of the don'ts is don't go too heavy. Layers, sheer layers is going to be your best friend. Yeah, so you notice I didn't use very much at all.
No, you didn't.
And then I'm
just like a tiny bit.
A tiny bit. And that's just going to help counteract. And then we're going to put the concealer on top of that. And this I'm going a little bit more on there just to make sure we're hiding that dark circle. And this is just to brighten up, and using a concealer that's not too light. I think that's also a common mistake with highlighters.
Oh yeah, because like back in the 70s, the white, that was the thing.
Yeah. So, and that just, I think that also makes the fine lines look more apparent is when you put too light of a color. If you struggle with dark circles or like puffy, heavy bags, also putting really light concealer on top of that bag just brings it
out even more.
So you want to actually use something closer to your skin tone instead of something really light. So yeah, so that's
I'm already seeing the difference.
Yeah. And then this one's a little self-setting, so we can let that set, but I'm gonna start working on a different side. So we're actually using a product that has color corrector in it, and it's by Dermatology, and it's a luminous color corrector. And this one you just pump, you can use the cool tip to actually help with any puffiness.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I don't want to put too much product on her under eye because this is actually a really nice sheer product, but it can go a little out of hand if you use a full pump. So I'm going to spread that back out. And this you can use on its own, so it has the color corrector in it. Or you can add more concealer on top of it. But this is more for like if you want a sheer finish and you don't want it to be really, really heavily masked. You can see that there's like a little bit of that peach in there, but it's not going to be that full coverage without a concealer on top of it. So you can tell the difference there that it masked it a little bit, but it's not a full coverage.
No, that looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just to finish off, we just put a little bit of set powder right underneath the eye area and anywhere that feels a little shiny, where we put the little highlight of the brow bone.
Fantastic. Yeah, you look great, Jenna.
Thank
It
you.
looks good. Good work, Linda. Yeah. And what were we going to say with this?
Oh, just a final thing. So this is a beauty blender, and it's a damp sponge. This is just going to help melt everything together. So if you really want to, if you're kind of heavy-handed and you use maybe too much product, a nice damp sponge just kind of picks up any excess product, and it helps melt all the foundation and the concealer and everything together.
Great idea. Great idea. Look, let's take one last look here. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jenna.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Linda, thank you.
Thanks for having
All
me.
right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.